Dr. Jane, and welcome to my channel, You're Not Grown at 18. So, I wanted to talk about this policy of an individual being considered an adult at 18 years old and why this policy we came into being and what it means for the person. This policy of a person being an adult at 18 is a lie straight from the pit of hell. And there is no real diplomatic way to say that. And so let me explain to you why, this is so. When this policy was created for several reasons. One, we needed people to go join the military. 18 seemed like a good age because at that point, a person is the strongest they'll ever be, but they're also the dumbest. So 18 was a good age. The other reason that this policy came into being is because we need a labor force, right? The country needed a labor force. And from that labor force, we have a new crop of individual that is entering the labor force every year at 18 years old, and they're replacing the individuals who are leaving the labor force. And so we have that replacement of labor. That's one piece. We also have the replacement of taxes. Once these new crop of individual enter the labor force, they start paying taxes, right? And their taxes now replace the taxes for those people who are retiring and leaving the labor force. That's another huge piece. The next piece is that we need people to vote. So 18 again seemed like a good age. Nowhere in these reasons was the individual considered because this policy was not made based on what is in the best interest of the individual. It was a fiscal policy made in the best interest of the country. Now, what does that mean for the individual, for the country, and why I say this policy is a lie straight from the pit of hell? It's because we have major brain development that's going on between 18 to 24, 16 to 23, dependent on which book you're reading. So, what is going on in the human brain at that time? We as human beings have a fully developed brain at 24 years old. And so, in the interim between 18 and 24, the part of the brain that is being developed at that time is called the prefrontal cortex. And in the prefrontal cortex, this is the region of our brain that is responsible for judgment, reasoning, critical thinking, decision making, all of these higher order thinking skills, these higher order cognitive skills are the very last part of our brain to come online. And these skills are the skills that we use the most as adults. It is difficult to talk to a person who cannot reason. Try and reason with those kind of people who can't process ideas deeply and critically so that you can reason with them. It's difficult to make decisions with an individual who cannot make it or cannot go through the decision making process. Those are adult skills, those are higher level thinking skills that we develop throughout our lives. But because of major brain development occurring between 18 to 24, this is where those skills are pretty solidified. They are solidified during that period to where now the prefrontal cortex come online and it's there and we can keep moving into our lives as adults. Now, this policy straight from the pit of hell saying that a person is grown at 18 have people bent out of shape in all kind of sorts, because at that point you have parents who believe this policy, and so because they believe this policy, they will tell their children, I can't wait for you to be 18 so you can move out. Oh, I don't have to tell you anything, you're 18, you're good. And so the parents stop talking, and the child, this young person, oh, I'm 18. No one can tell me what to do. And you are not going to tell me what to do. And so at that point, we have where the parents stop talking and the child stop listening. This is not a good thing for either the parents or the child, because this is where we have sometimes where people make mistakes between 18 to 24. And in a lot of cases, this is where a person makes the most mistakes in their lives. And some of these mistakes, they simply cannot recover from. They don't recover from. They have lifelong implications for them. And so, parents, stay involved, continue to talk, and continue to guide your children. Now, young people in that age group, allow for yourselves to be guided and mentored by the people who care about you. You may have your mom, you may have your dad, you may have your aunt, you may have your uncle, a grandmother, grandfather. Allow them to guide you, allow them to mentor you, and be open to that process so that you can come out on the tail end at 24, 25, standing firmly on your feet, and you can be off and running. So, we are going to talk about this some more. If you have any questions or any comments, please put it in the comment um, box. If you have any examples or stories you want to share with me, you'll see my connect in the description box. Again, my name is Dr. Jane, and we are definitely looking at this policy of you're not grown at 18 and why we really need to rethink that policy individually and as households.